live. Welcome back to the Reputation Revolution. My name is Trevor Young and I have with me Brendan Keogh. G'day, Brendan.
Hello, listeners and viewers. Great to be here with you, Trev.
So this is every fortnight Brendan and I get together and we record this live video, which is going out on Twitter and LinkedIn. And we do this, it's actually for the Reputation Revolution podcast. So you might be listening to this in podcast format. And what we do is we recap an interview that I did and published the week previous. So the week previous was clearly last week, and the interview I did was with Ben Cusack he's got a company called Bullet Point, and he's a government grant specialist, but we didn't talk about government grants, Brendan.
No, Trev, was a great chat, and just the couple of key words that jumped out to me: liberation, freedom. Simplicity. Freedom, just incredible. Look, I thank Ben for my new favorite acronym, VOV, or vomit out videos. Just that sense of, I don't want to, I'm paraphrasing, but he says you're your own worst enemy, and I don't care what people think. I don't care if it's wrong. Just get it out there. I mean, it's just such a different way of thinking that I have, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners do.
Yeah, so we've got to, I'll jump in here because we'll have to, I'll just give you a bit of an explanation of what the interview was about. So it was about, the title of the episode was it was episode number 240, developing a digital media mindset and experimenting with short form video. And so why I wanted to talk to Ben is he's built a pretty big following on TikTok. He's got over about 191,000 followers, and he's had over 10 million likes of his videos. And he's a 45-year-old business professional, and he's on TikTok and doing this. So we did start talking about TikTok, and we'll cover that side of it first, Brendan. But really, the broader tack that we took was about experimenting on social media, having, as you said, freedom. And he did use the words like vomit out video. I'll get you to talk that through in a minute as well. But just for context as well, when professional people are building a personal brand, you've got to put yourself out there. You've got to, get out on social media, and whether it's live streaming or videos or however it is you want to do it. But sometimes we overthink things. We get stuck in our own heads when it comes to creating content and using social media to build that profile. And a lot of people go nowhere because they don't actually take action. Now, Ben's taken action, and he's got, 190,000 followers on TikTok. You said that the main thing that came out to you was this whole notion about freedom and to put yourself out there.
Absolutely, it's been a recurring theme on your with your interviews of do something, take action, get it, start, and this just turbocharges that sentiment.
I like it.
To do it, put it out there. And don't just Ben's approach of, I don't care if it's wrong, I don't care if there's a mistake, I'll change it or whatever. Because just so insane really where he says the posts that he thinks are rubbish or average are the ones that capture attention. Now, whether they're because they're a bit a bit more authentic, raw, whatever it might be, not as polished. And of course, there is some difference with TikTok, as you guys alluded to, compared to say LinkedIn. Take those on board, but just that sentiment of he doesn't care if it's wrong, just get it out. And we can hold back so much and dilute our message so much because we're worried about how it's going to come across. So that while the actualities might be different, the sentiment of just get it out there, just do it, take a risk. And it carries on from Joyce Ong, and that sense of I'll just do it, I'll be honest and get it out there. So it definitely carried a theme, but it just took it to a whole nother level.
Yes, and you're talking about, I'm just checking when Joyce was 236 episode, liberated on LinkedIn, and how she uses transparency and fun. So, they make good bookends of a conversation, because both very different people doing very different things, but you use the word liberated, or liberating, to see someone do that. Joyce used the word, she was liberated when she did it on LinkedIn, because she now runs her own business, where previously she was with the tax office. But there's a couple of things here, and you nailed it just a second ago, Brendan, that he is doing this whole experimentation is on TikTok. It's not LinkedIn, and different things, different strokes for different folks on different platforms. But we're not about talking about doing anything silly, and in terms of being risky in terms of doing anything silly. It's about just letting loose a bit, as you said, showing that authentic self, and part of that risk, or not that risk, but that letting loose is experimenting with new technologies, trying new platforms. And along the way, you're going to develop new skills. And in the case of Ben Cusack, he gained a lot of confidence because he's done so many videos now. Whereas, it wasn't that long ago that he couldn't stand being on front of camera.
Yeah, I think fearless, not reckless, is the mantra.
Fearless, that's it.
It's not the that's the t-shirt. But as Ben talked about, and you did, but you have a second platform, and that's the platform where you can take a few more risks and be a bit more daring, and open. So, and that's exactly what he did with TikTok, So, just that sense of content, you're being in front of your audience, who he goes, he assumes, or like, again, paraphrasing, but it's like he assumes that they're not going to. His audience isn't necessarily going to read a lot of the posts, but it's about being seen, and they just get that sense of, oh yeah, he's an expert. He's always commenting on a topic of the day related to his niche. But it's just sheer weight of numbers to get that reach. So and visibility.
So let's separate those out, because where we're talking about LinkedIn. So the conversation with Ben did go from TikTok to LinkedIn. So we'll just tie the TikTok thing up in a bow. Now, the thing here is that Ben is not doing that for work. He's having fun with it, and he's into mountain bike riding and all of that sort of stuff. So it's about bikes and doing jumps and all of that sort of stuff. And he just bangs them out. And that's where he's got the big following, and as he said, he used to do some more serious sort of stuff, and it just didn't work. And once he let loose and did it with mountain biking, it worked. So, and this is not about, hey, you need to be on TikTok. It is not that at all. What this is that, or how to really make TikTok work for you. Or, even though we did cover that, and Ben had some great tips because he's out there doing it. But it's really about taking this digital media mindset across platform as well. So he's now doing stuff, on YouTube Shorts, which is like Reels, YouTube's equivalent of Reels from Instagram. But he's on LinkedIn. As you said, he's doing a lot of different things by, he's being very productive by outsourcing, getting some posts made and stuff like that. And as you said, news of the day, if you want to walk us through that bit, the news of the day, getting it out there, you'd started on that. I just jumped in.
No, I do. I love how he's utilizing external resources to help him develop and get his content out, because it's, as you alluded to, it's too hard to, especially if you're a solo operator or the key person to be doing this all yourself. So he's leveraging other people's time to grab news of the day. So getting the Google alerts, and you don't even have to, even just the headline he's using. So it's not about going into deep dive analysis of some of these topics. It could be the headline, could be just a keyword or sentence. Create a tile or create a series of tiles in Canva that become a video. I just love the different multi-modes that he uses. Definitely opened my mind to how I can approach practically approach a new way of developing more content. And it's a bit more fun too. It's not too deep and dense. It's light. It's just about I'm on it. I'm aware of this, and again, just getting those eyeballs. So a very different approach to what I've been used to, and just quite eye opening. So really enjoyed some of the practical tips that he provided.
Yeah, so I urge people to go and have a look at Ben on LinkedIn. It's Ben Cusack, Cusack, and he's got in his title Government Grant Specialist, so you'll find him pretty easily. So what he does talk about is he knows what's happening in the government grant space. And he's, as you just said, he gets those alerts sent in, and then he gets a VA to create some little tiles, and with the kind of the headline from it, and saying who's receiving what for, who's receiving what grant, what's happening with, the government's boosting grant monies and giving money to this crowd. I'm just looking at it now, actually. So it says, they're just headlines, aren't they? Cardiahab received $740,000 to support its cardiac rehabilitation app. And then there's Flinders University received $10 million to expand its Factory of the Future facility. And then $17.2 million funding for Central Coast Food Innovation Hub. So he's got this content coming to him through Google. And these are people who are getting grants. So it's showing that he's on top of things, and the system is he gets it turned into a tile, has a few relevant paragraphs, and gets that out. And there's a lot of it. So he is he's got a very, very dynamic, productive news feed all around government grants, and that's his business. So he's got he's got about 10,000 followers on LinkedIn, so he's really got a solid following there. But it's this visibility, isn't it? Visibility. It's strategic visibility. Being, he's becoming, the government grant guy. He's the one who knows what's going on.
And it's nice and simple. So it really does bring in that virtual assistant into play, who can just take stuff and run with it. And then with his mindset of exploration and go for it, he just get it done, put it out. So that's how you can get such turnaround and be able to post 3 posts a day as he does on LinkedIn, to maintain that kind of schedule.
That's right.
You guys also, he brought it up about lurkers. So again, that theme of the lurker came up, where he's constantly getting not even clients coming, but he's getting referrals from people who he's never had done any work with or had spoken to. And they're referring him because of this visibility and being seen as an expert. And he's just when someone asks or they're talking about it, the people will refer who aren't, so again, your point, which was reiterated really well, it's not about just talking to your potential clients. Look, your network should be much broader, because there's people who will never be your client who could be a great source of referrals.
100%. I mean, there's so many, and I get the fact that you want to be out there talking to potential clients, but I reckon a lot of people, and this is maybe the difference between a PR person and a marketer. PR person probably looks at the fact that, no, there's everyone around you in your community, your digital neighborhood, they're potential often, depending on your business, but they're potential referrers. They might never be a client, but they just like you, and that's why the humanization of business is so important, because there's people who will never be your client, but it doesn't stop them from referring or sharing your content or talking about you in the marketplace. And I think that, and then, as you say, they're lurkers. A lot of them we don't actually ever get to see them until they pop their head up.
It's great. And when you have that referral mindset, that's when you start going, well, maybe that second platform, it's a bit wacky or different to my business persona, really comes into play, because it's just about expanding your reach and network and visibility. Again, that word. That it's not even about being on the topic that you're the niche owner of. You can be broader, because it's about exposure, and then that just creates those linkages.
Yeah, obviously with LinkedIn, what Ben's doing on TikTok and LinkedIn are completely different, and he's doing what should be done for each platform. So he's not cross pollinating his TikToks on LinkedIn. So that's a good one, good lesson there. And the other thing he's doing, again, this digital media mindset, experimenting on social media. He's creating videos using an AI video production app called Lumen 5, Lumen 5. I used to use it many years ago. It was a bit clunky in the early days, and I just keep reminding myself now I should go back to it. I also use one called Rocketeum, but Lumen 5 is one of the early ones. And basically, you put your blog post in or your article, and it creates a video of images, and you put the music in, and the AI part of it, it's grabbing what it thinks are the key sentences, and then puts them over the images and creates the video. I mean, when you see it in action, it's fascinating. Now, when I used to use it, I used to probably have to play with it a little bit to improve the images, or they've got a big repository of images, royalty-free images to use, and maybe I would have changed the text a little bit to to highlight what I thought were key messages versus what the robots did. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good, and it's quick. So again, experiment with different apps and tools to get your content out there in different ways.
Ben doesn't change things. Ben's not changing it. He just puts it out.
That's right. He does.
Right? Just puts it out. It's extreme. And of course, we talk, say TikTok, but, you're your own worst enemy. Was that everyone can relate to that?
Yep.
No one cares. Get it out. Put it out.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's wrong, because no one cares. So just that, it's, and if, again, we say that this is TikTok versus LinkedIn. There'll be some, but that essence, that feeling, that's still true on LinkedIn. No one's really analyzing everything you say.
Yeah.
Without being careless or sloppy, but just put things out there, and people are accepting of if it's not absolute, it's embracing imperfection.
Well, we're doing this live, and I've got landscapers outside, and the music's playing, which you might be able to hear a little bit. Luckily, they're not throwing things in the big skip just in front of the driveway. I just, given what we're talking about, I thought, well, rather than put this off, let's just do it anyway.
Yep.
And if there's a big bang in the background, that's life. I've got to put up with it. So does everyone else.
The other thing I loved was the simplicity, and I think I mentioned that in the outset. But and again, probably more for the TikTok content. But Ben it's just all on his phone, and
Yep.
he had played around with good audio and fancy this and that. No, he just does it simple, and I think TikTok is a bit more, that again, authenticity, but that if it's too polished, it doesn't do well. So we might it's again different on different platforms, but you just take some of that, the lessons from that of simplicity, speed, less moving parts, without polishing every single component. People more about the message and the delivery and the person than how it's looking or what have you. So he doesn't worry about lighting, anything like that. So when you combine that with this fearless mentality, and you have other external resources to help you, an assistant to help you, you've tripled, quadrupled your output, haven't you? Like you're just able to put out so much more stuff.
And that's the competitive advantage, isn't it? That's that strategic visibility. So let's start to wind things up, Brendan. I think that there's a few t-shirts in this. We should start getting t-shirts done from each episode.
Oh yeah.
There's the three of them.
Yeah, just stock up the garage with them. Yeah, but it'd be great.
Yeah, that's right. Learn by doing, digital media mindset, and progress, not perfection.
Experimentation. Simplicity. Have
lots
fun.
Of t-shirts. Have fun.
So having, again, with that second platform where you're experimenting, that you can have a bit of fun with it. try
Yeah,
different things.
absolutely.
That's you know, if it's something that feels a bit odd that's going to stand out. You know, it's not about attention for attention's sake, but it's just again that idea of freedom and liberating ourselves
Freedom!
from from the limits and that we do. But honestly, I think the biggest one for me is just no one really cares that much. So just don't worry so much. Put it out there. Again, because we are our own worst enemies.
Yes.
So just embrace imperfection.
Embrace imperfection. Now, I will add in there though, there are levels of imperfection. I mean, perfection is if you're going to wait to be perfect on social, you'll never actually get out and do anything. So, but that doesn't mean unprofessional. We're not saying be unprofessional, and everyone's got, and depending on your industry and stuff like that. I mean, if you're a medical doctor and you're putting stuff out there, you want it pretty accurate. So I mean, we're having a bit of fun here, but it's about that being a little bit rawer, a little bit, making sure you get it out. You don't sit on stuff for days, weeks, months without putting it out. And it's probably particularly around video. We know that, as Ben said on TikTok, if you've got stuff that's really polished, it won't work. The raw stuff really works. So, you've got to know your platform as well. And that's part of the experimentation to see what works and what doesn't. And digital media mindset. If you want to develop a thought leader brand, you've got to put yourself out there. And if you're trying to polish everything within an inch of its life, that's not great. Now, if it comes to writing articles, you're going to probably want to get that sort of right. We're talking probably more around the video side and that side of things. But again, with what he's doing on LinkedIn, he's getting stuff out really quickly with social tiles. They all look good. They all look professional. He's got someone doing it. So that's kind of like a wrap up. So if you haven't listened to that episode, it's episode 240, Developing a Digital Media Mindset and Experimenting with Short Form Video with my special guest at the time, Ben Cusack. And if you're someone who tends to overcook things on social media and you haven't yet broken out of the mindset that something needs to be perfect in order for it to be professional, then have a listen to this episode. I think it'll be for you. If you wanted to check out Ben on TikTok, it's Benny_Mc_Benface. Benny McBenface. Even having a bit of fun with his name. And obviously on LinkedIn, it's his real name. And that was a really good episode. And while we talked on TikTok, it wasn't all on TikTok. We did have a number of different topics, as Brendan and I have just touched on just now. Any last words, Mr. Keogh?
Fearless, not reckless.
Fearless, not reckless. All right. We've got to have T-shirts. All right, mate. We'll catch up in a fortnight's time and we'll be recapping what next week's episode will be all about. Thanks for your time again, as always.
Wonderful to join you, Trevor. All the best to everyone.
Okay.